Hello, hello, hello. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay. All right. So this week we're testing out bringing our community into the chat. So chat box is working this week. That's lovely. Figure out where I'm going to put that. This can go here. I guess this can go above my head somehow. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. This is all new. So collab cam seems to be working. Bam. Please add your name and check your setup. Front camera, microphone, speaker. Join. Ooh. So I see you here, but how do I see you there?
I don't know where you are. What's that and what's this?
The computer, like how do I see you in the stream? Like how do you show up in the stream?
So where are you seeing me now?
In my phone, because I needed to test out this link
I see.
to make sure that the link works. So the link works. But how do I get you to be in the stream is the question.
And for me, because I see your video from the stream and from your phone, so it sounds like echoey right now.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
How do we get this to show up? Ooh,
You got it?
okay. I'm so excited. Ah.
Well, okay, now your phone went away. Oh, you got it.
Oh
How,
yeah. Oh
how did you
yeah.
do it?
I don't know. Well, okay, so in the stream setup, there's a collab cam and it generates a link. And I can have up to 11 people in my collab cam.
And I'm there now? Hey.
Yes. Okay. This is so exciting.
I made it to the KTD streaming.
Everyone, welcome Angelica. Oh, okay. And then Eric showed me I can crop you. Ooh, I can. Yes. And then I could put you over here next to me, over here on the other side. And then I want to put this here because I want us to see the book. How can I see the book? Right monitor? Nope. I don't want that. Chat box is working. Can you guys say hello in the chat? Because I think this week is actually working. We can see it on the stream. Say hello in the chat. Oh, look at that. Chat box is working. Okay, we're making progress this week. And then you said hello and it show so you're on Twitch, so you're watching us from Twitch. And then here's the book. Great. And then I can even okay. Wow. So many things are going great. We had a delay today, guys. Sorry. Life just be life in. But look at what's happening. I got the book here. I know everyone has different versions of the book, but hi, Tara. Okay, so I have Angelica on stream. I have the book visible. I have the chat visible. Wow, progress. How exciting. Okay. So we're going to start off by I want to be mindful of time, and we do have to reflect on what we read independently. We'll read together and do some reflection on what we read together. Um, I'm not sure that we will read an entire chapter together. I'm thinking it'll be somewhere around like maybe half a chapter, just to be mindful of time, because we want to keep our meetings to an hour. And I do want us to do our beginning breathing exercise, stretching, reflect, read, reflect, and then end with our guided meditation to end. And hopefully, most of you will be going to bed after that, so you'll be feeling super zen for bedtime. Sounds good? Okay. All right. So if we can just take a big deep breath in and just get comfy and cozy wherever you're sitting. I'm sitting in this computer chair with like a little thing under my feet, because I don't know, having my feet dangling feels so weird to me. I don't know if that feels weird for other people. And either we can soften our gaze or we can close them, whatever feels right for you. And just give permission to your entire body to relax, your facial muscles, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your belly, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet, and all of your toes. And we're going to begin to inhale for a count of 4. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Continue breathing like this on your own. I will mind the time. Inhaling for 4, pausing for 4, exhaling for 4, pausing for 4. Let's slowly begin to come back to our normal breathing pattern. And just allowing yourself to be present in your space, in your body, in your breath. Noticing any sensations you feel in your body. And we're going to take one really big deep breath and fill up your lungs to its capacity. And let's sigh it out. Let's slowly open your eyes or raise your gaze if you were just lowering your gaze. And let's just do a little bit of stretching. So we're going to bring our hands to heart center and then intertwine our fingers. Then we'll push our hands outward, stretching the palms, stretching the forearms. And then you're going to allow your head to fall chin to chest. Breathing here, noticing where you feel the stretch. On your next inhale, you're going to slowly bring your head up along with your palms. Your palms are going to reach to the sky, and you'll bring up your head to center. And we'll breathe here, drawing the shoulders upward towards the ears, drawing your belly button in towards the spine. And we'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to slowly allow our arms to fall to the right. And if you're seated, because I don't know if anyone decided to stand for this, we're going to try to keep our hips grounded. So both hips grounded while the arms are falling to the right. Keep those hips at center grounded, and we'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your next inhale will guide you to center, and then exhale, we're going to let the arms fall to the left, keeping both hips grounded. We'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your next inhale guides you to center. Exhale, we're going to bring the hands down, keep the fingers intertwined, and then we're going to cup the back of the head. We're going to inhale, look up to the sky, open up the elbows, open up the chest, breathing here, open up the space in the front of your neck, and we'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big breath in. Exhale, we're going to bring chin to chest, round the shoulders, bring elbows to point towards each other. And the arms and the hands are not forcing the head down. Just the simple weight of the hands is adding a little extra for the head to fall forward, releasing any tension in the back of the head, in the back of the neck, in the shoulders. And we'll breathe in this rounding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your next inhale will guide you up to center, and then we'll slowly release the arms. Maybe you roll the wrists down, wiggle the fingers, give yourself some shoulder circles. Maybe you open up the chest by squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then you round forward. And then we're gonna get ready for book club, y'all. How you feeling, Angie?
Good. Relaxed.
I'm drinking some tea. Do you have water or tea?
I have my sparkling water.
Ooh, Spindrift. It's the best. It's the
This
best.
one's my favorite right here.
That one's good. The pineapple one that we found, though, that one time was really good. Okay, so let's take some time to reflect on chapter 1. Would you like to start with like some thoughts that you had about chapter 1?
To be honest, I read it like when we first had to, and it kind of left my mind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need physical copies, and I like do so much like highlighting. There was at one point, I don't know which page it was, but I almost highlighted the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. I gotta remember that. And so I'm gonna present here. That's chapter 2. We're on chapter 1. What happened to chapter 1? Oh shoot, where's chapter 1, guys? It's not here. Okay, so I have a summary of chapter 1. Bam, bam, bam. So this chapter introduces the concept of the wounded mind, which carries emotional wounds often infected by fear and emotional poison. These wounds are caused by the judge and the victim within us, and they prevent us from seeing the truth and experiencing unconditional love. Ruiz uses the metaphor of a skin disease to describe how emotional wounds contaminate our relationships and beliefs. So, I don't know if you remember him painting this picture of like arriving on a planet, and on that planet, everyone has this skin disease that has like these wounds that prevent people from like touching one another. But in their world, not connecting, not touching is normal because everyone has this disease. And then in our world here on planet Earth, that disease is not in our physical skin, but it's in our minds. And usually that is created by fear. And through fear is where we create walls to protect ourselves. And when we operate in fear, it creates so many different things in our lives, like challenges in our relationships, not just people with ourselves. So the reflection question for chapter 1 was, can you identify a recent situation where your inner judge or victim took control, leading to conflict or misunderstanding? So if anyone in the chat wants to share anything, whether it was their thoughts about the chapter or something regarding the reflection question, did you give any thought to that reflection question, Angie?
I did, yes. Because interestingly enough, I went through something similar where I was able to relate, and how that inner judge can come up in a tough situation.
For me, I reading this, like when he was talking about operating in fear, like I've said that a lot, but only through my life experience did it feel like that was true. So to read it and someone else say like, yeah, when we operate and feel all of these things happen, like, oh, I was right. Okay. This is true. And I'm I'm not sure in recent time where the victim has come up. I can definitely in the past have so many examples, but like the judge, I'm trying to operate in like having no judgment, not of myself or of people. Cause I noticed in my upbringing where we watched a lot of novelas where like almost like gossip and judging people was part of the norm on how I noticed like the grown-ups around me socialized, and they always had an opinion about everything, about what people wear, about how they raise their kids, about how they cook, everything. And as I'm navigating my adult self, especially now in the last, I would say 5 years of really just trying to be self aware, I'm like, oh my God, I have a judgment about everything. And it's exhausting. And especially of myself, to be like kind to myself, to not judge myself so harshly. And I'm trying to operate with just like, Julie, you don't need to have a judgment. You don't need to have an opinion. Everyone's journey is their own. And when it comes to judging myself, it's just like, you're doing your best and we're going to make mistakes. It's okay. Chill out. Chill out. Take a chill pill. Find it. Take it and relax. Okay. Anyone in the chat want to share their reflections or thoughts about chapter 1? And while we're waiting for people to chat, the comprehension question was, what are the two internal voices that contribute to the wounded mind and emotional suffering? So that was kind of like, the comprehension question is less about opinion or reflection, is more about like, what do we understand from the text that the text told us? So what did you take? I think the hint is in the summary. But what would you say the answer would be to that question, Angelica?
Can you repeat it again? Because I
Yeah.
can't see the question.
Oh, what are the two internal voices that contribute to the wounded mind and emotional suffering?
Fear is one that comes up right away, as one of the internal voices that contribute. Because I think sometimes a lot of actions that contribute to that voice are fear driven. I feel like there could be so many others depending on a person's situation, like comparison, for example.
Oh, yeah.
That could be another one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but fear is the one that really like stands out for me the most.
So to summarize the chapter, like the big two, I don't know how to there's the word that's coming to mind, but the judge and the victim is how Don Miguel Ruiz is like the two internal voices that contribute to us having wounded minds and having our internal emotional suffering. And the judge and the victim will present itself differently in each situation. And so it's like, how do we kind of almost quiet the judge and the victim so that we can just operate in clarity? Like, if we could say judge is left, victim is right, how do we find that middle, like clarity, to operate in love, not just with people, but with ourselves? Um, I think I want to read the last part of the last sentence, the last chapter, sorry, the last paragraph of chapter 1. So many humans are suffering because of all of the false images we try to project. Humans pretend to be something very important, but at the same time we believe we are nothing. We work so hard to be someone in the society dream, to be recognized and approved by others. We try so hard to be important, to be a winner, to be powerful, to be rich, to be famous, to express our personal dream, and to impose our dream onto other people around us. Why? Because humans believe the dream is real, and we take it very seriously. So, how do we operate outside of this societal dream? Okay, Tara. I hopefully next week you'll be comfortable with coming into the stream with us so we can actually verbally chat. 'Cause I think that is definitely a better way for us to be in community together for book club. Before we go on to reading chapter 2 together, is there anything else you want to share from chapter 1, Angelica, that stood out to you?
Mm, I mean, I just have like when I was reading this, I just had my own thoughts. Like with the last paragraph, how it was saying that we work so hard to be someone in in the world and
Mm-hmm.
get approval by others, and just how you were saying like how do we find that middle ground between the judge and the victim. And I think from my own experiences, like giving ourselves grace a lot of the times is the key,
Yeah.
because it's like with comparison, it's like sometimes even with comparison, it's like there's good intentions because you want to see yourself maybe at a higher level, at a more successful level, but everybody's timeline is different.
Yeah.
Or even wanting to make a name for yourself, it's like you have to give yourself grace that getting there takes time, and it takes making mistakes. um,
Yeah.
so to me that has always been a key in like finding a balance between the judge and the victim.
Um, the one thing that keeps coming back to me in chapter 1, um, we are masters because we have the power to create and to rule our own lives. And then a couple paragraphs later, it says, your whole reality, everything you believe is your creation. And I struggle with this because I know that there are people suffering, that were born into horrible situations, or there's real evil in this world, like human trafficking, right? Like, I struggle with when I see things like that, because there are, how did those people choose that kind of suffering? When we're in a situation where maybe you're living a normal life and you're in a country like the United States and you have opportunities available to you, and you have like, you're constantly at a crossroads of choosing left or right, this or that, like choices. And if you're not feeling happy with where you are, that I understand, that I resonate with that. But I oftentimes find myself thinking about people in the world that have nothing, that have a level of suffering that I have hopefully never will experience in my lifetime. And I'm like, but how can this apply to them? How how can I say this to someone who is living in a place that has no clean water, that their family struggles to just find like the basic essentials of life? How could I give them this book to say like go master love to like change your reality? I don't know. I struggle with that a lot.
That's a really good point. I feel like that's deep.
I mean, I remember one time I remember being emotional cuz I have a toilet in my house and toilet paper. And just thinking like there's people in the world that have to go behind a tree with no toilet paper. Like one day I
Mhm.
was really upset about that. I'm like, how did I deserve to have a toilet and toilet paper? Why me?
Yeah.
Why am I
And
not that
you know,
person?
you know what the funny thing is in college, I think I told you, I'll make this quick. I went to a very poor area of Guatemala, Chichicastenango it's called, and it was like a volunteer group, and it was a very poor area, and the people in that neighborhood were so kind, and they let us into our homes, and they had no like wooden floors, it was all dirt. And I remember and they were the happiest people, I mind you, that I ever met. And when I came back home, I was like, wow, we have it so much better, but yet we complain about the smallest things. Like we're always looking for more. And I went to this place and I met some of the happiest people that I've ever met.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
So it
hope,
makes me wonder if like what we read in this book about like us trying to we try so hard to be important and be winners and be powerful and be rich. Maybe the reason why they're happier is because that's not even a priority for them. Those
mm,
yeah, those materialistic wins. They care about other things that are actually important.
yeah,
Hmm.
maybe. I'm trying to minimize this so that the chat can be seen. Okay, I think the chat looks better now. Okay, perfect. All right, so I hope that after chapter 1, we conclude that this whole what Angelica just said, and we find this balance of understanding that yes, we our thoughts do create our own reality, but also figuring out what are the things that we put way too much importance on that we shouldn't. And Tara says we are constantly exposed to images of having more things to be a person of value. Yes. Yes. Yep. I'm trying to do less, like have less, like consume less, and operate out of like, do I have what I need? Because I think if we all had like what we need, and at least we start there, and like instead of over consuming, this world will be a different place. Yeah, social media definitely just doesn't help that at all. And I know Angelica, you recently did like a break from social media. We all need to do that every now and then, because the capitalism and the overconsumption in social media is influencers. Like use my code and go buy this and da 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 da. It's a lot. All right, so we are at 8 o'clock. Um, I want to say let's give us until about 8:20, and at 8:20 we can whatever we had read up until that point we can reflect. We'll do our closing meditation, and then whatever we have not finished in chapter 2 we'll complete independently along with chapter 3. Next week we'll reflect on what we read independently, read chapter 4, 4 together, and that'll be the flow of how we go. Sounds good, everyone? All right. So I didn't get to say Adriana wasn't able to be here today, but I think at this point we all can see that. So last week, I would read paragraphs and she would. Would you like to do it like that, Angelica? Like I read two and you read two?
Yes, I wouldn't mind at all. The only thing is like on our Streamlabs, I'm not able to see it. And when I go on YouTube, it's just like a blank sheet. I don't
Oh
see.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to find it. I have my book, but it may be hard.
Okay. So, but the even though the pages don't line up, at least what's on the page should it should line up.
You know what? I just went to the Twitch streaming,
Yeah.
and there I can see it there. So I think I should be able to read it
Okay.
from there. Yeah.
Okay. But can you go to the first page of chapter 2 and just kind of compare, like, because you have the physical book?
Okay.
I'm just curious, does it like line up?
I mean, it does. Yeah. Well, except like my first page for the loss of innocence, it only has like three sentences, three, four.
The loss of innocence?
Yeah.
And then it goes on to a new page?
Yeah.
So interesting.
I
Okay.
don't know. Can you see it on my?
Oh, it's like a paragraph, which
Yeah.
is probably, so does it start with humans and end with we are?
And it ends with, as children, we don't. That's,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. But so you can see it on Twitch.
I do
And
see it on
then I'm
Twitch.
wondering if I can make it bigger. Let me try to make it like zoom in. Whoa, not that part. Whoa. Can I zoom in this?
I'm actually able to see it, honestly. Like, I can read it.
Oh,
It's big enough.
perfect. Okay. I could
Yeah.
even do this just in case anyone. Okay. It's a little bit bigger. All right. So I'll start off with first two and then you do.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. All right. The loss of innocence. Humans by nature are very sensitive beings. We are so emotional because we perceive everything with the emotional body. The emotional body is like a radio that can be tuned to perceive certain frequencies or to react to certain frequencies. The normal frequency of humans before domestication is to explore and to enjoy life. We are tuned to love. As children, we don't have any definition of love as an abstract concept. We just live love. It's the way we are. The emotional body has a component like an alarm system to let us know when something is wrong. It is the same with the physical body. It has an alarm system to let us know something is wrong with our body. We call this pain. When we feel pain, it is because there is something wrong with the body that we have to look at and fix. The alarm system for the emotional body is fear. When we feel fear, it's because there is something wrong. Perhaps we are in danger of losing our life.
The emotional body perceives emotions, but not through the eyes. We perceive emotions through our emotional body. Children just feel emotions, and their reasoning mind doesn't interpret or question them. This is why children accept certain people and reject other people. When they don't feel confident around someone, they reject that person because they can feel the emotions that person is projecting. Children can easily perceive when someone is angry, and their alarm system generates a little fear that says, stay away. And they follow their instinct, they stay away. We learn to be emotional according to the emotional energy in our home and our personal reaction to that energy. That is why every brother and sister will react differently according to how they learn to defend themselves and adapt to different circumstances. When our parents are constantly fighting, when there is disharmony, disrespect, and lies, we learn the emotional way of being like them. Even if they tell us not to be that way and not to lie, the emotional energy of our parents, of our entire family, will make us perceive the world in a similar way.
The emotional energy that lives in our home is going to tune our emotional body to that frequency. The emotional body starts to change its tune, and it is no longer the normal tune of the human being. We play the game of the adults, we play the game of the outside dream, and we lose. We lose our innocence, we lose our freedom, we lose our happiness, and we lose our tendency to love. We are forced to change, and we start perceiving another world, another reality. The reality of injustice, the reality of emotional pain, the reality of emotional poison. Welcome to hell. The hell that humans create, which is the dream of the planet. We are welcome into that hell, but we don't invent it personally. It was here before we were born. You can see how real love and freedom are destroyed by looking at children. Imagine a child 2 or 3 years old running and having fun in the park. Mom is there watching the little guy, and she's afraid he might fall. Oh, wait, I didn't turn the page here. My bad. My bad. Um, where we at? She's afraid he might fall and hurt himself. At a certain point, she wants to stop him, and the child thinks mom is playing with him, so he tries to run faster from her. Cars are passing in the street nearby, which makes mom even more afraid. And finally, she catches him. The child is expecting her to play, but she spanks him. Boom! It's a shock. The child's happiness was the expression of love coming out of him, and he does not understand why she is acting this way. This is a shock that stops love little by little over time. The child does not understand words, but even so, he can question why.
Running and playing is an expression of love, but it's no longer safe because your parents punish you when you express your love. They send you to your room and you cannot do what you want to do. They tell you that you are being a bad boy or a bad girl, and that puts you down. That means punishment. In that system of reward and punishment, there is a sense of justice and injustice, what is fair and what is not fair. The sense of injustice is like a knife that opens an emotional wound in the mind. Then, according to our reaction to the injustice, the wound may get infected with emotional poison. Why do some wounds get infected? Let's look at another example. I could read that again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Imagine that you are 2 or 3 years old. You are happy, you are playing, you are exploring. You aren't conscious of what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, because you are not yet domesticated. You are playing in the living room with whatever is around you. You don't have any bad intentions. You don't try to hurt anything, but you are playing with your daddy's guitar. For you, it's just a toy. You don't try to hurt your daddy at all, but your father is having one of those days when he doesn't feel right. He has problems in his business and he goes into the living room and finds you playing with his things. He gets mad right away and he grabs you and spanks you.
This is injustice from your point of view. Your father just comes and with anger he hurts you. This was someone you trusted completely because he is your daddy, someone who usually protects you and allows you to play and allows you to be you. Now there is something that doesn't quite fit. That sense of injustice is like a pain in your heart. You feel sensitive. It hurts and makes you cry. But you cry not just because he spanks you. It's not the physical aggression that hurts you. It's the emotional aggression you feel is not fair. You didn't do anything. That sense of injustice opens a wound in your mind. Your emotional body is wounded, and in that moment, you lose a little part of your innocence. You learn that you cannot always trust your father, even if your mind doesn't know that yet, because your mind doesn't analyze. It still understands. I cannot trust. Your emotional body tells you there is something that you cannot trust, and that something can be repeated.
Your reaction might be fear. Your reaction might be anger or being shy or just crying. But that reaction is already emotional poison because the normal reaction before domestication is that your daddy spanks you and you want to hit him back. You hit him back or just intend to put your hand up, and that makes your father even madder at you. The reaction of your father for just putting your hand up against him creates a worse punishment. Now you know he will destroy you. Now you are afraid of him, and you no longer defend yourself because you know it will only make things worse. You still don't understand why, but you know your father can even kill you. This opens a fierce wound in your mind. Before this, your mind was completely healthy. You were completely innocent. After this, the reasoning mind tries to do something with the experience. You learn to react in a certain way, your personal way. You keep that emotion with you and it changes your way of life. This experience will repeat itself most often now. The injustice will come from mom and dad, from brothers and sisters, from aunts and uncles, from the school, from society, from everyone. With each fear, you learn to defend yourself, but not the way you did before domestication, when you would defend yourself and just keep playing.
Now there is something inside the wound that at first is not a big problem: emotional poison. The emotional poison accumulates and the mind begins to play with that poison. Now we start to worry a little a bit about about the future because we have the memory of the poison and we don't want that to happen again. We also have memories about of being accepted. We remember mom and dad being good to us and living in harmony. We want the harmony, but we don't know how to create it. And because we are inside the bubble of our own perception, whatever happens around us now seems as if it is because of us. We believe mom and dad fight because of us, even if it doesn't have anything to do with us. Little by little, we lose our innocence. We start to feel resentment. Then we no longer forgive. Over time, these incidents and interactions let us know it's not safe to be who we really are. Of course, this will vary in intensity with each human according to his intelligence and his education. It will depend on many things. If you are lucky, the domestication is not that strong. But if you are not so lucky, the domestication can be so strong and the wound so deep that you can even be afraid to speak. The result is, oh, I am shy. Shyness is the fear of expressing yourself. You may believe you don't know how to dance or how to sing, but this is just repression of the normal human instinct to express love.
Humans use fear to domesticate humans, and our fear increases with each experience of injustice. The sense of injustice is the knife that opens a wound in our emotional body. Emotional poison is created by our reaction to what we consider injustice. Some wounds will heal, others will become infected with more and more poison. Once we are full of emotional poison, we have the need to release it, and we practice releasing the poison by sending it to someone else. How do we do this? By hooking that person's attention. Let's take an example of an ordinary couple. For whatever reason, the wife is mad. She has a lot of emotional poison from an injustice that comes from her husband. The husband is not home, but she remembers that injustice and the poison is growing inside. When the husband comes home, the first thing she wants to do is hook his attention because once she hooks his attention, all the poison can go to her husband and she can feel the relief. As soon as she tells him how bad he is, how stupid, or how unfair he is, that poison she has inside her is transferred to the husband.
She keeps talking and talking until she gets his attention. The husband finally reacts and gets mad, and she feels better. Now the poison is going through him, and he has to get even. He has to hook her attention and release the poison. But it's not just her poison, it's her poison plus his poison. If you look at this interaction, you will see that they are touching each other's wounds and playing ping pong with emotional poison. The poison keeps growing and growing until someday one of them is going to explode. This is often how humans relate to each other. By hooking the attention, the energy goes from one person to another person. The attention is something very powerful in the human mind. Everyone around the world is hunting the attention of others all the time. When we capture their attention, we create channels of communication. The dream is transferred, power is transferred, but emotional poison is transferred also. Holy cow.
Yeah. Usually, we release the poison with the person we think is responsible for the injustice. But if that person is so powerful that we cannot send it to him, we don't care who we send it to. We send it to the little ones who have no defense against us. And that is how abusive relationships are formed. The people of power abuse the people who have less power because they need to release their emotional poison. We have the need to release the poison, and sometimes we don't want justice. We just want to release. We want peace. That is why humans are hunting power all the time, because the more powerful we are, the easier it is to release the poison to the ones who cannot defend themselves. Of course, we are talking about relationships in hell. We are talking about the mental disease that exists on this planet. There is no one to blame for this disease. It is not good or bad or right or wrong. It is simply the normal pathology of this disease. No one is guilty for being abusive, just as people on that imaginary planet are not guilty because their skin is sick. You are not guilty because you have wounds infected with poison. When you are physically sick or injured, you don't blame yourself or feel guilty. Then why feel bad or guilty because your emotional body is sick?
What is important is to have the awareness that we have this problem. If we have the awareness, we have the opportunity to heal our emotional body, our emotional mind, and stop the suffering. Without the awareness, there is nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is to keep suffering from the interaction, with other humans, but not just with other humans, the interaction with our own self, because we also touch our own wounds just to be punished. In our mind, we create that part of us that is always judging. The judge is judging everything we do, everything we don't do, everything we feel, everything we don't feel. We are judging ourselves all the time, and we are judging everyone else all the time, based on what we believe and based on the sense of justice or an injustice. Of course, we find ourselves guilty and we need to be punished. The other part of our mind that receives the judgment and has the need to be punished as the victim. That part of us says, "Poor me. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not intelligent enough. Why should I try?"
When you were a child, you could not choose what to believe and what not to believe. The judge and the victim are based on all those false beliefs you didn't choose. When that information went into your mind, you were innocent. You believed everything. The belief system was put inside you like a program by the outside dream. The Toltecs call this program the parasite. The human mind is sick because it has a parasite that steals its vital energy and robs it of its joy. The parasite is all those beliefs that make you suffer. Those beliefs are so strong that years later, when you learn new concepts and try to make your own decisions, you find those beliefs still control your life. Sometimes the little child inside you comes out, the real you that stays at the age of 2 or 3 years old. You are living in the moment and having fun, but there is something pulling you back. Something inside feels unworthy of having too much fun. An inner voice tells you that your happiness is too good to be true. It isn't right to be too happy. All the guilt, all the blame, all the emotional poison in your emotional body keeps pulling you back into the world of drama.
The parasite spreads like a disease from our grandparents to our parents to ourselves, and then we give it to our own children. We put all those programs inside our children the same way we train a dog. Humans are domesticated animals, and this domestication leads us into the dream of hell, where we live in fear. The food for the parasite is the emotions that come from fear. Before we get the parasite, we enjoy life. We play, we are happy like little children. But after all that garbage is put into our minds, we are no longer happy. We learn to be right and to make everyone else wrong. The need to be right is the result of trying to protect the image we want to project to the outside world. We have to impose our way of thinking, not just onto other humans, but even upon ourselves. With awareness, we can easily understand why relationships don't work with our parents, with our children, with our friends, with our partner, and even with ourselves. Why doesn't the relationship with ourselves work? Because we are wounded and we have all that emotional poison that we can hardly handle. We are full of poison because we grew up with an image of perfection that is not true, which does not exist, and in our mind it isn't fair.
Can you scroll a little?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 8:20, by the way. I think it
Okay,
just,
it just turned
yeah,
8:20. Okay.
just here.
So, oh, you want to at least just finish that one paragraph right there at the bottom of that
E-
page that I
Oh,
have
yeah.
in blue?
Yeah. Okay. We have seen how we create that image of perfection to please other people. Even though they create their own dream that has nothing to do with us, we try to please mom and dad. We try to please our teacher, our minister, our religion, and God. But the truth is that from their point of view, we are never going to be perfect. The image of perfection tells us how we should be in order to acknowledge that we are good, in order to accept ourselves. But guess what? That is the biggest lie we believe about ourselves because we are never going to be perfect. And there is no way that we can forgive ourselves for not being perfect. Man, this chapter.
Whoa. So Tara shares, I find his perspective to be very self-loathing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? You want to go first? Any thoughts, Angelica, that you have? That was a lot.
It was a lot. I feel like I have so many thoughts running through my mind. Mm, I think I just can't. I'm really stuck on the beginning when he talks about like how a child is domesticated and how, depending on how their upbringing is, it could really affect them, the way that they view life and the way that they go about life. And like, I'm not a parent yet, but I'm like, man, I didn't realize how much of a responsibility that is. Like, not only caring for our inner self, but what we're projecting onto others and to our children.
Yeah.
The way he put it just really made me think about that in a way I never have.
Yeah. I don't know at what point in my parenting I realized that. I don't even know if it was from the very beginning. I just remember realizing that I am so much of what I'm doing is molding to what kind of grown up they become.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have a responsibility before they enter their grown up life to do right by them, because it's not just what I'm directly trying to teach them, but how I live my life. Because I like, there are things that I'm like, oh, my mom did it this way. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
do it. Like, she didn't teach me how to do the thing this way. It's just that I saw her do it this way. Or, she spoke to me a certain manner, or she handled my discipline in a certain manner. So it's just by instinct, this is what I think is the right way to do. And in some point in this journey, I was like, oh, well, she did certain things that way because how she was upbringed, and her parents did certain things that way because of how they were raised. And then if you unpack that a little bit more, right, like every generation is different. Like what is acceptable, what is not, is a little different. Um, like my grandma comes from a generation where there was so much domestic violence, and it was never fully addressed. Like women were not protected. Like you women could call the police because of domestic violence, and the women were not protected. So like my great grandma comes from that kind of generation, and
Oh,
that
wow.
that flowed into how my grandma navigated relationships. Okay, yes, I want you to be part of the chat. This is what makes it so much better. So I don't know at what point I realized that my parenting, that yes, I need to be careful of what I do and why I'm doing it. Is it because I generally feel that this is right, or is it because I'm unconsciously programmed because of what I experienced to do things
Mm-hmm.
like yelling? Me and Eric realized like we both were yellers, and we were like, why do we do, like, why is that the knee jerk reaction? Some
Mm-hmm.
situations don't even merit us raising our voice, and so we had to unprogram in our brains individually, like, how can I calmly address a situation without yelling, because this is not, it's
Yeah.
not helping, it's
You can
making things
still be,
worse.
yeah, you can still be stern and
Yeah,
communicate.
so that's just one example of like yelling. We both grew up with yelling. And then we just started little by little of like really self-reflecting, and I think we've done a really good job. I don't think we're yellers anymore.
That's good.
And so the the self-loathing, I'm wondering, Tara, if I do feel like in order for there to be a collective shift, we do all have to start with I, and like what are we contributing, what do we need to change in order for the collective to also change. But I do agree it is a nothing in this chapter so far is talking about the good that we do. So I think if you walked away just reading the chapter, it does seem like us as humans are just once we become grown-ups, because children are perfect according to this chapter. They're great, they live in love, they don't know any other way. And then you become a grown up and we just do all the wrong things. Um, so I'm curious as to how it all, like, as we unfold the chapters, how that will come about. But I guess also, right, if we're looking to solve a problem, we're gonna kind of hyper focus on like what what shift has to happen, right? And so in the negative spaces is where we need to shift. So I don't think there's space to talk about us as like the good we do as humans, if the focus is like here's where we need to change and evolve. Does that make any sense what I just said?
It does.
Yeah.
And you know, to Tara's point, I can see what she's saying because it's like I think he says it in the book that the emotional wounds that we that we collect since childhood is like a parasite in our body. So it does kind of have like a negative light to it. But I think the point that he's getting at, which connects me back to the introduction, remember when we were talking about how the love it has always been within us? And the point is just to cultivate that love and remember that it's within you. So I think like that parasite, it grows with fear.
Yeah.
So fear that we experience from our parents, from life, it grows, 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 grows. We act out of fear. And I think that's why something that we read said like it's not your fault that you have that parasite. The first step is just to acknowledge it. So acknowledge it and then like remember, like come back to self. Remember that your love is there and that you can tap into that to be better. So I think that's like where we're heading.
Yeah. And then Tara also said nature and nurture play a role in how we act and do things. Also keeping in mind that we are all wired differently in how things are received, even in the same household. Yes. So this is so apparent, especially in household where you have siblings. And like my sister will recount things that happen and I'm like, no, I don't, that's not my version of the story. Or my brother, like, like we'll just have, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so interesting. Or just people in general. Like if you and I were sitting outside and we saw something happen and we both retold the story, it would be a little different. Just because we're seeing and perceiving the world through our own perspective, through our own like construct of our life experiences. And I think that's also what makes being a human so interesting is that like we can walk hand in hand through life and still have different versions of what this life is. It's weird.
It is
It's like
weird.
we're in the same room and we're looking at the same screen, but what we're both seeing is different.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I think there's something to say like walking a mile in someone's shoes. Like, there's so much technology and evolution. If someone invented a way to like really see the world through other people's eyes and perspective, that would be so powerful.
Yeah, that would be.
Like imagine in a situation where like let's say you did something that upset me so bad and I'm so upset with you, I'm so heartbroken, and you're like, it wasn't even that serious. Like what is your problem, right? But and if we had this technology like a VR headset and I put it on and
Like now you're
and
Angie.
yeah, and you're me and we're experiencing each other's and we're like, oh, you
I feel like this could be a Black Mirror episode if you've ever watched it.
yes, but that ends in good, like a happy ending one,
Yeah.
right? Like that would be so cool to be able to see things through each other's perspectives. I don't know how in the world that would be possible, but I'm just thinking definitely in times of conflict, whether even in my marriage or with my sibling, like people, it's usually with people who are really close to you that you've lived a lot of life with, where you get into these moments of like, no, you said this, and you're like, well, I didn't mean it like that. And like, that's not really what I said. And it's so those little moments, and all it really is just a shift in perception. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly, Teresa. Exactly. Everyone has a different perception. Yep.
Yep.
I think he says it in here, something like that. Um, there was something he said that kind of aligns with what we've been talking about. Because I know domestication is something he touches on it in his Four Agreements book. Um, I don't know. I don't know how you have what a world would look like without like no domestication. Because I also don't want to live in a world where we are all just like unhinged children. You know, like the world that Peter Pan was trying to create. I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, like I feel like we need a little bit of conditioning for structure.
We need structure. So how can we operate in love and fun and freedom?
I guess the negative ones are fear-based conditioning,
Yeah.
which a lot of times our parents can transfer to us without even knowing. Because like you said, you learn it from your parents and you think that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this was a heavy oh, one last thing before we go, because I don't remember when this book was published. Wait, let me look real quick.
Mm,
Mm,
where would it say it in the beginning?
yeah, right? It
I
should.
think
Originally published in, it's pre social media, I feel like.
copyright 1999.
That seems about right. Okay, so in a pre social media world, he says, the attention is something very powerful in the human mind. Everyone around the world is hunting the attention of others all of the time. When we capture the attention, we create channels of communication. The dream is transferred, power is transferred, but emotional poison is transferred also. This was
Mm,
stated in a, oh, Tara said 1952.
1952.
That's
What?
definitely in a pre social media era, right?
Oh yeah, it says Miguel Ruiz 1952, The Mastery of Love.
So maybe your copy was maybe because you know how they'll reprint books and like do edits or whatever, like republish them. So yours might be a republish in '99, but it
I
looks
can't
like
believe this book is from wow, from the
so.
50s.
And this is what they're talking about, and I feel like this resonated with me, being a child of like the we are the last generation that know, like we have a dual life, or where we know life without internet and without social media, and now we're inundated with it. I like highlighted the entire paragraph, and we have to be mindful of what we're consuming. We have
Yeah.
to be mindful, because that for sure, like that emotional poison, and that like where in social media it's so easy for us to compare, like feeling inadequate because we're not traveling the world and we're not doing these things, and our house doesn't look this way, and that our body doesn't look this way. Like we have to be careful about what we're allowing to be communicated to us, and where we're giving our attention. And that's why social media is so powerful, right? Because it is your time and your attention. That's why social media is so powerful, because it is consuming your time and your attention.
Which is everything. Hmm.
Everything. Everything. So I think for me, I have I think a page left in the chapter. For you guys, it's probably like maybe 2 pages, because the pages are smaller,
Yeah,
possibly.
could be. Yeah, I have to go back. But this chapter was, I feel like it just had, it's the type that I want to read over because it was just like a lot in a good way.
Yeah, Tara, I agree too. So that's probably also why he chose those examples for his book, because that so 19 my mom was born 1951. And so Yes, that totally makes sense why he chose those types of examples to put in a book. Um,
Hmm.
mhm.
But like you said, Julie, it still resonates though till
Yeah.
this day. Because it may look different nowadays, but people can still be conditioning their children
Mhm.
with fear
Yeah.
and poison,
Yep.
because they have a lot of unhealed wounds themselves.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
All right, guys. We went a little bit over, but I think our discussion was really thoughtful. And
Very.
I'm really excited to keep reading. Let me pull up my meditation for today. Thank you guys for taking this journey with me, for reading this book with me. And I love just being able to bring up the things that resonate with us, but also the things that we don't agree with, or the things that don't resonate with us, the things that don't make sense. So we don't have to agree and resonate with everything the author says. And bringing our perspectives to the table is what makes community enriching, and being able to share and listen to each other with an open mind and an open heart. So thank you, everyone. All right, as we close today's book club, if you can again find a comfy seat. At this point, if you want to lay down and close your book, you're able to do that as well. Um, Soften your gaze or close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. And just tune into your breath. Make your breath really long. So as you inhale, fill up your lungs. And as you exhale, exhale with control. Like slowly release that breath. And just notice any sensations in your body. Notice how your belly and your rib cage expands and contracts with every breath. Feel the weight of your body grounding here. Feel yourself safe, present, and open. Take a deep breath in through your nose and into your heart, and exhale anything heavy from the day. Now imagine a soft light glowing at the center of your chest, the place where love begins. This light represents awareness, your power to see clearly, to learn deeply, and to love without fear. As you breathe, let that light expand, warm, radiant, and alive. Each inhale fills you with curiosity. Each exhale releases old stories that no longer serve your growth. Repeat to your heart, I commit to seeing myself with compassion. I commit to learning with love. I commit to my own evolution. One more time. I commit to seeing myself with compassion. I commit to learning with love. I commit to my own evolution. Visualize yourself reading this week, not out of duty, but devotion. Every page becomes a mirror, every insight a seed of transformation. Bring the messages of this book we're reading together. Its message that love is something, not something that we must chase or earn. It's something we cultivate by returning home to ourselves. Take one more deep breath in, bringing in love. And as you exhale, smile softly, knowing that the greatest love story you'll ever read is the one you write with your own heart. Slowly opening your eyes, coming back into the space. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you. If you have not signed up yet, you can go to the members portal and then you'll be added to the WhatsApp group for updates and notifications. Thank you for also joining me, even though we had to start later today. And I hope everyone has a great week. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.